So what is the opportunity window all about? Because right now you have an opportunity window. And the reason I like to describe it as a window is, what would you guess? Well, windows can close. So you have to be aware of, when is the window open? And I think right now the window's open. But you got to realize it may not continue to be that way forever. There's going to come a time when that window is going to close. So your job, if you realize you've got the right conditions to be more strategically able to make a deal happen, you've got to take into account you have a window, and don't hesitate to grab or go through that window and try to make something happen. So in the current market, we do have an imbalance. I would argue it's probably going to be temporary. Yes, we have a lot more sellers than buyers. Why is that? Well, rates, recently, very recently, last month have gone up. But even before that, we were, again, those numbers, the gap between sellers and buyers I gave you was from February, when rates were actually pretty good. So that underscores the fact that a couple things. With sellers, we're now seeing a little bit less of the lockup effect. When you have that many more sellers than buyers just 2 months ago, when rates were still relatively attractive, the media was talking about we were now getting close to or under 6%. Well, the reason you have more sellers than buyers, despite relatively good rates, is we're finally starting to see some of these sellers with low rates on their existing mortgage are, for whatever reason, now more often deciding to sell anyway. And there could be a variety of reasons for that we don't need to get into. But the point is, we're seeing the data suggest that that's starting to happen. And when that starts to happen, that's what's creating the additional inventory. And if most of those buyers out there are still spooked and want to keep waiting, then those of you who see this opportunity, and if you avoid the groupthink, I would call it, the madness of crowds, where you just kind of go with the flow of the headlines that are so negative, as a buyer, take advantage of this opportunity to strike while the iron is hot, as they would say, because so many of your other potential competition, those other prospective buyers, are still stuck in the doldrums of, I think I've got to wait. And the problem, and the reason why I say it's a window, excuse me, is that this leverage opportunity is probably going to shrink. When is it going to shrink? Well, guess what? With the increase in rates we just had the last month, when this finally blows over, and I still think it will, I'm not ready to give up on that yet, rates should probably drop back down pretty quickly and significantly. Well, what that's going to do is potentially start closing that window. Because if, again, we start to see those rates come down and maybe get through that 6% barrier again, then if the media talks that up, that could push more of the buyers back into the market. And that means your leverage as an existing prospective buyer is going to shrink, and you may lose that opportunity.